Hey, what's going on? I just wanted to do a short video to go through some of the books that I use for Mayan astrology. I have made mention of it in my last video, and I just wanted you guys to see the sources that I go by. So I'm going to be sharing my screen over here. So just a sec. All right, so suppose I'm back in recording, and I just want to go to my books over here, the Mayan cult books. I got about 4 different books I use for Mayan astrology. Let me start with the my favorite one. Right here, it's just a sec. The Mayan Signs and Their Interpretations by Laetitia Tisserand. This is a really great guide, and I like that I got my thumbnails or bookmarks over here. This is really great. She really goes in depth. She really breaks things down as deep as she can. I mean, she has what she does have slightly more of a spiritual perspective, but that's okay. That's pretty good, I think. These are my highlights I made in it. She goes through, the core information of it. Then she goes into the general psychological profile of a sign, then potential challenges. What else? Yeah, some challenges, some benefits. Then she goes into the integration of polarities. Excuse me. This is that's in every sign. She goes into that spiritual powers or spiritual tendencies you may find. And this is just something extra. I may have to explain it in another video, but glycerin akbal, that relates to. I'd have to explain this in another video. But yeah, that's pretty much her breakdown. And the sign akbal is actually, it means night. That's a sign for night. Day sign for night. So yeah, I'm gonna go to another one. Chemi is the world bridger or death sign. Manik is the blue hand. Manik is monkey. Same thing. She does give you a lot of information. When I go on, I want to go somewhere. When I go to mymayansigns.com, how do I get that? I need to. How do I move this around? Let me just do this. Right, so let's say today is September the 2nd, 2020. It's 12 a.m., so yeah. So that would be the day sign of road or human. The trecana is serpent, and the galactic tone is 8, meaning it's born on the 8th day of the 13-day trecana week. Background sign, main day sign, the seer tree of life. And of course, on this site, you do have your own descriptions of it. It will break down the road sign for you and the tone, galactic tone number, what it means. And the serpent sign, being the trecana, it breaks that down for you as well. So this is a good, if you're just new to Mayan astrology, I recommend going to mymayansign.com to get yourself a basic, introductory description of your Mayan astrological signs, and it even explains to you how these all three work together. So this is your first stop, but again, I'm recommending these books because they have a lot more information to give to you. You will find a ton of information in this book. As again, let me go back to the sorry, excuse me. Let me go back to the beginning. Check the title of it. How do I suck at scrolling, guys. All right, so the Mayan signs and their interpretation by Laetitia Tisserand. It's very detailed. It's one of the most, information-packed book on the Mayan sign itself. Sometimes they call Imix the crocodile sign. Others call it the red dragon. I like the red dragon name. The red Skywalker. It's also called Cain or Corn. I like red Skywalker. And the yellow human is also called the road sign, which is what we just checked out on Safari on the web. So these sometimes the names are a bit different, but you'll get used to it. The order is usually the same. Mayan signs usually start with red dragon and go all the way to yellow sun or ahau or light. These over here are the traditional names. I forgot what the terminology is, if it's Yucatec or Tzolkin or or quiche, sorry, if it's Yucatec or quiche. Those are the different languages you got over there in the region where the system is from. I don't pay too close attention to, which if it's either or. I just know this means that, that means that. I'm pretty simple and pretty basic with I'm pretty straightforward, I'm just like, how do I apply it in my life? How do I make sense of this, that person? Anyway, so that's the first book I want to show you guys. It's really good. I recommend getting this one. This is another book. Let me show you where it's from, actually. So this is that book right here. It's called The OlmecMayan Time Code, Quantum Astrology 101 by Mama Kali and Daddy Shiva via Cosmic Chaos. You can go to the website cosmicchaos.com and you can buy this book from them. It used to be $50, now it's about $4.44, something like that. Well, this is the last time I checked. And this is Daddy Shiva and Mama Kali actually have a really good video on getting people introduced to Mayan astrology, or the OlmecMayan quantum astrological system. So I watched this video first in the beginning of my journey into this information. It was very good, very impactful. I loved it a lot. And thank you for having it. I just love having the thumbnail over here. So they dive into some of the, how to find your Mayan day sign without going on the web. But I find this to be, it's just easier to go to mymayansign.com. This involves some calculations and mathematics on your part, but it's also cool to know if you want to be, expert on that level. So they take the snapshot from that site. They do explain now this is for the calendar system in general, because mine calendar system is circles within circles, cycles within cycles, and the Pictune is 7,880 year cycle composed of 20 Baktunes, and the Baktune you got over here is one of the 2394 year cycles in the Pictune, one of 19.7 year cycles in the Baktune. So it's like it's circles within circles within circles. I don't pay too much attention to this. This is a more of like a, not just a bird's eye view, but more like a God's eye view type thing, if you want it, because you're dealing with like incredibly large cycles of years and time frames, because everything spirals. But I'm gonna just go. They go into the galactic tone numbers, what they mean and stuff. They have very simple descriptions. The book I just showed you before goes into things a lot more in depth. Then you go into MX, the red dragon sign. I like what they have here because they give you things that you can use to meditate upon your signs. They have the information that they provide here is very different from any of the other books I've seen. It's more like a soulful journey within and understanding your sign within. It's not too much information. Like every sign just takes 2 pages to go into the shadow wisdom. They're going into shadow wisdom, shadow transformation. It's not as detailed as the first book. This is a short book, but it's a good guide to have as well. It's complimentary. I'd say it's complimentary, but it's good. And I really like the graphics in it as well. This is a hawk sign. This is a second day sign. It's also called wind as well, or I think sometimes spirit, or it's referred to as spirit. There's some people who always got a message, want to sing, want to talk, want to share what they have within. That type of thing you can find a lot with the hawk or wind sign. And again, you have your Akbal or the abyss or knights, and have different names, but you'll get used to them. Don't worry. So this is a good book. I like it a lot. Like I said, it's a complimentary guide. And is it worth having? I think it's worth having. I took a lot of screenshots of these images because I love them. But it's just pretty good. It's also similar to another book I have. This is by the Sojourner publication. It's called the Mayan Tzolkin Calendar, or is it called, what's it called? Not sure what it's called. I think the file was called the Mayan Oracle, I believe. It's a PDF. I just got this online, and it goes into, this goes into what? How to explain it? This is, I forgot what it's called, but it just shows you an interesting pattern with the signs. I don't go into this too much though. It doesn't really add value or much understanding to the particular day sign that I may be born on. What you really want to get is this stuff and understanding, pretty much your deciphering your human scenario, so to speak, and life purpose type stuff, and after that you just keep it moving, just trust yourself to what you want. Like it's kind of like it's explaining to you what you would do anyway, but now that you know, it takes away some of the self-doubt and some of the fear and just lets you go full blast, just lets you do what you would do anyway, but without as much self-doubt as one might have if they didn't understand or see this about themselves. Because if once you read that you are this way or that way and the things that you do are not wrong or not foreign to you, then you're like, okay, no need to second guess your nature. So this book is similar in terms of they have short descriptions and stuff. Let me move on to more of the other material that I have. This is a book, Cyclomancy, by the way. It's pretty good. I find it hard to read in some areas, but some people recommend it. Let's move on to Jaguar Wisdom by Kenneth Johnson. This is more of a shamanistic book. It explains, these are the table of contents. Gives you an introduction to the world of Maya, the Mayan universe, the world in the four directions. Explains some things about the calendar, the book of days, Mayan astrology, breaks that down, and then it goes into Mayan divination, which is more so the shamanistic aspect of things. Excuse me, let me see if I can get to a thumbnail. I made some bookmarks here as well, but I can just go to the thumbnail. It's pretty good too. Yeah, it explains some important aspects of the culture behind it. The sacred calendar. Probably should have gone straight to the bookmark, but yeah, here. So with this one, it explains more of the mythology behind the day signs, more of the mythological stories behind the day signs. Okay, so it doesn't explain, let's say, like Khan will be lizard or the seed, Akbal again will be the night sign. It doesn't explain the attributes of night sign as much here. It goes more into the mythology behind it. You know what I mean? So, and that's also kind of good to know as well. It just adds more context to the day sign you're dealing with. Now, if you go further into the book, you go to this chapter where it deals with this is as you would see in your tree of life. Here you got the crocodile or red dragon. Let me go to something that, what did we have on Safari again? We had road or the humans. Let me go over there real quick. Monkey road. Okay, so this is the road tree of life. It kind of tries to explain the day sign of road with respect to or with considering the future sign, ancestors, then the past sign or the childhood sign, lizard or seed. This will be the masculine sign, death, or the right hand side, or right hand sign. Hope I'm saying that right. And flint would be the knife or sword sign, which is the left or the feminine sign that you have here on the left. And it may sound confusing that I'm saying this is right and this is left, but you just sort of imagine it as if it's facing you, that type of thing. And you're gonna find that pretty common within the Mayan system, how they describe signs. So I want to go over here and see, you still have your road, you have your knife or flint, your seed or lizard, your death, and you have lights. What did they have here? Ancestors. Yeah, ancestors, sun, light. It means the same thing. We're talking about the same sign. The numbers here will vary according to uh, the galactic tone, date that you're born on. So if this was, let's say, 7 or 6 road right here, then you'd have different numbers all over. And those numbers can also impact the attributes of each day sign as well. There's some extra info for you. So yeah, so it kind of tries to give you a holistic view, because it will explain the road sign, but also take some things into consideration. So kind of it sort of trains you to pull the pieces together, so to speak. So that's pretty good about this book. And this one is Jaguar Wisdom by Kenneth Johnson, Mayan Calendar Magic. Now let me go to another book by Kenneth Johnson, which is right here, I believe. Right, the Mayan Calendar Astrology by Kenneth Johnson, Mapping Your Inner Cosmos. This is also pretty good. He goes through a different kind. He starts with monkey sign. So some traditional Mayan astrologists would say that the crocodile or the red dragon is the first Mayan sign. Another system to go with Chuen, or the monkey sign, which is 10 signs after red dragon. So it's sign number 10. So it's in the middle. I mean, so they say that the monkey sign is the first sign. So you can go either or. I find it to be easier to understand by going with the red dragon being the first sign, because it also represents the primordial uh, essence of the primordial waters, the primordial mother. So to me, it makes sense to go with that particular understanding. But either way, the count is still the same. If it's the 2nd of September 2020, they still, in both systems, will have you. They will still have the road sign as a sign for that day. So not too complicated with that. And yeah, so this will also go into a description of the sign. It just won't go uh, it won't stratify things as the first book did. The first book gave you one section, the core information, and then it gave you the psychological profile, spiritual powers, integrating the polarities, shadow wisdom, shadow transformation. This is kind of like a summary of that, but all in one place, and a bit less detailed, mixing in a bit of mythology as well, because it's the same author. He went into the mythology of things, so that's also a good guide. If you read the first one, for example, if you read Red Dragon, the first book, or if you read X, the Jaguar sign, which is my day sign, by the way, then you can also come here just to have a summary of it. And sometimes you do find information here, bits and pieces that you don't find within that first book I mentioned here. That's very detailed. So it's good to have these working together. These two books work really well together. This gives you more information than, again, this website gives you, because this is pretty short for the road sign. So it just gets broader and broader. But obviously, this book here is the most detailed I've found concerning the signs. This is like a runner-up, and this one is good because it also goes into mythology, so it adds to the context of what we're dealing with. And I think I already talked about this book over here. These two are similar. This is if you wanted to get into uh, to pull the understanding of your sign into your heart space and meditate on it and work with it. This is pretty good. It also recommends some crystals, herbs you can use, some stones, some scents, some mudras, meditation. Again, I just wanted to show it to you to make it clear. And the images are really popping, so you can also screenshot these images and work with it, make cards of your own. So yeah, it's kind of like uh, it makes things practical in a ritualistic meditative sense, and I like it for that reason. So I have this in my arsenal of tools. And lastly, I wanted to go to this one over here. This is a book that I kind of put together, but the information of this book is pretty much what you find on what's this site. Let's go back to Safari. So mymindsign.com, I give you a description of the road sign. I copied and pasted all the information for all these particular day signs into this little book right here. So let me see if I can go back to, it's kind of tricky for me to use this one. I haven't even figured it out properly. Let's see if I can go to chapter 1. No, I'm having trouble navigating this shit. Let me see if I can go, you know what, fuck it. Isn't there a place I can scroll? Yeah, I can scroll. Thank God. I can scroll. So, yeah, so what else can I find? So, yeah, so this is the Mind Quantum Time Code, or Mind Astrology, whatever you want to call it. I go into the science. I didn't actually fill this with information about the galactic tones, but I should have. But whatever. I got better information in these other books. So I go into the Crocodile, Red Dragon, Night Sign, go here. So this is the same information you would find on that website, mymindsign.com. I just pretty much compiled it and put all the info here. So it's like Pretty basic information, but it's they kind of picked like the best of the best that a person could know if they were, let's say, to only read about their sign one time and just walk away. This is kind of like, if you wanted to bring the best impression upon somebody about their mind sign, you could do this. This is pretty good. Like, I still believe, if someone just wants to read their sign in 1 minute, they should go look at these because they're pretty good, and the information is it comes out strong. And I appreciate the work these guys did. It's pretty good information. Like I said, you go to these books, you go to these other books like this one over here, this one over here, this one. It becomes a lot more in depth, but this is still pretty decent. It's still like it's very the information in this book right here are still very much appreciated because it just gave it hit on some key points and some key insights that were still dead on and spot on. So I appreciate it. I appreciate the work these guys put in. And last but not least, this is the Serpent and the Jaguar. This one right here, I actually bought the book as well. It more so is like it doesn't necessarily break down each day sign individually like this book would, or this book would, or this book would, or this book would. This more so follows the calendar of the Mayan calendar, or the 260-day cycle. 260-day cycle meaning you have 13 trecanas, and you got 20-day signs. So 13 times 20 is 260. I think that's how it works. Or I'm getting the math wrong, but actually I'm not. But the understanding behind it, I may be screwing up a little bit because I'm kind of tired right now. It's past midnight. But a Mayan calendar cycle is 260 days. If you want to go through all the signs and all the tricanas in one full sweep, and this will take you through uh, each of those days, each of those 260 days. It will combine the tricana of that day, the Trecana week, which is a 13-day period, as well as the day sign that rules over that particular day. If you want more information about the Trecanas and the day signs and how they work together, you can go look at my video called Basics of Mayan Astrology, where I explain how the Trecana signs and Trecana signs and day signs and the tones work, the galactic tones. But all that information, you can even find it on this site the first time you go up here. They will explain it all to you in a very like simple way that you can understand. It's not complicated. I just may be sounding a little bit like it's complicated because I'm trying to piece all this information together in my head in one moment. Another note about this book is it's more so if you wanted to follow the calendar, like I said, day by day by day. So that's also good. I also have some cool apps on my phone. I'm gonna leave that in the description. It's a good app you can follow about the what you call it? Yeah, the Mayan calendar. Every day it will tell you what sign is ruling that day, and it's pretty good. It's called Tzolkin. You can find it on the App Store. There's also another one about the Mayan calendar, but it follows the dream spell and galactic signature system, which I don't like, or I don't recommend, or I don't follow, or I'm not a part of. But to each their own. They can do that if you want to. Anyway, yeah, so that's a breakdown of the books I use. These are some of the best sources I've found, especially this. This is a great runner-up. This is a great complementary for context and methodological information. Like I said again, this is good for meditation and more, like you really want to pull that sign into your heart space and, kind of work with it. It's just great. I like this as well. You can get it on cosmicchaos.com. I'll link the information on the description of this videos too. This one right here is the Mayan time code. I also like it as well. It's also pretty good. Like I said, it's the same information found on the website, but it's it's just good to have it all together in one spot because if you go on the site, you would have to like click the next day and the next day to the next day to find the description of the next sign. So I kind of did all that dirty work and I put it all together. Y'all can find these books online. If you do want the PDF, you can still email me. I might give you some, but you're gonna have to buy the rest of the shit. Sorry, it's my investment. But anyway, what else can I say? This book and this book are similar, but that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me see. I can stop sharing. Pause share. Where do I go? Yeah. All right, thanks for watching. Peace out.